Considering the major changes that my Russian tortoise enclosure has undergone, I'd say that it is high time for a Russian tortoise update. And I will get right into that. I just want to mention that some exciting things are coming, and I'll probably mention some more details about what's to happen on this channel in maybe my next video, including some preliminary details about a reptile contest that I have in the plans. With that said, why don't we move right into the new tortoise enclosure. So some major changes have happened. It's now moved into the basement, which is allowing me some workspace around the work sinks, as well as the storage shelf over here for my various supplies, like the extensive substrate collection I've developed, thanks to some coupons that have come my way. So overall, I think the changes are really nice. But of course, the biggest change is with the enclosure itself, and that is now custom built, as you can see from the video here. And it is 5 feet by 30 inches by 10 inches high, as opposed to my old tub, which was 36 by 24 by 8 inches high, so larger in every respect, and it is now expansive with plenty of room for 2 tortoises, as opposed to my tub, which offered just the minimum amount of space, in my opinion. So one of the really nice features about this that's hard to see in the camera is the plexiglass sheet I used here. And the plexiglass allows me to see in the top, but the tortoises still have a bottom that cannot be seen through, which allows them to still have that feature there, because sometimes you will find that the tortoises get a little bit upset. They don't understand the concept of glass or see-through surfaces. And I really like the custom build enclosure much better than anything that you can purchase at a store. So inside I've got the same play sand coconut fiber mix substrate that I used in the updated version of my older enclosure. And I also have one of my favorite substrates to use for these guys that I've just recently tried, which is aspen. They love to burrow in this, and it gets a little bit warm for the basking side, which is the side of the enclosure where I keep the aspen. Their heat light is on the right, their UVB is on the left, and as you can see, Sheldon is on one of his favorite parts of the basking area, which is the slate that I use over there. It gets nice and warm from the basking light, so he just loves to sit up on that, especially once he's eaten. It helps digest his meals for him. And if you can't tell from his appearance that he's had a big meal, you can probably tell from the great big mess he's made over here at the feeding part of the enclosure. He made a big mess of his romaine and collards, which is what the 2 ate tonight. Ms. Shell works a little bit more slowly. So to separate the 2 substrates, I used some landscaping brick, which works great for a lot in this enclosure, and I got this nice wood piece from a Reptile Expo. There's a video of that on my channel. I kept the half log hide, which is one of my favorites and their favorites, and a nice palm here. One of my main goals with this enclosure was to kind of head back to nature and keep a nice natural look throughout, so I justified the palm by thinking, well, heck, around a desert oasis you definitely find some palm plants. So that was my justification there. I've got a nice fake aloe plant here that I also got at the Reptile Expo. As much as I'd love to keep some of the real aloe that I have growing all over the house in this enclosure, the tortoises just cannot stand to look at it for more than a minute or 2 without devouring it completely. I've got my first supplement dish over here, which has some Bermuda grass and a couple of small pieces of cuttlebone. And then I've got this nice feature, which I got the idea for at a reptile house I visited, and that was the rock pile that you see here. This is all Maine coastal rock, which I've boiled to keep nice and clean, and the tortoises enjoy climbing on that, and it also provides a nice boost in aesthetics. I kept the same second story, but put some branches along the ramp here. I also covered the back areas of the picket fence and branches, so I can still see through, and I get the best of both worlds, both the natural look and the picket fence. The ramp is the same. I made the the pool a bit shallower, and the cuttle bone is in a nice hand-painted dish up here. So really sticking with that natural look. And then I've got a humid burrow down here, which is a new feature. It's made of the same landscaping brick I use for my feeding platform, as well as to separate the substrates, and then it's got a slate roof, for lack of a better word. There's some sphagnum terrarium moss in there, which helps retain humidity. And with all that humidity and the substrate, I do have a liner underneath the substrate, which is pinned down along the back walls, but along the front you can actually see the liner there, so it's great to keep the substrate in place. And then I've got a nice piece of driftwood in the corner, as well as both of the feeding areas over here. The feeding platform is where Ms. Shell, my female, fancies to eat the best, and she's really going to town. She's hungry for a smaller tortoise. She's got a big appetite for a little girl. And the feeding dish over here, so I have two different feeding locations. Sheldon ate most of his, but he's one of those tortoises who likes to snack throughout the day and the evening. So there you go. I've got decorations throughout. I really, really like the looks of this, and I think that it turned out really well. So I'm thrilled, and I think the tortoises like it a lot too. So it turned out great. Now I do have some other videos of this of the tortoises, not of this enclosure, but some other tortoise moments on my channel. There's a video with some specifics from the second story, which you can find on my channel, along with a video of Russian tortoise care, which shows my older enclosure, and an update on that enclosure is also available, so you can kind of get a before and after video. And as always, any requests, questions, comments that you have for me, you can leave, and I'll do my best to get back to you soon. And like I mentioned earlier, Sheldon just realized that maybe he left a little bit too soon, and he's still got an appetite going. So, if you'd like to catch up with this channel, the best way to stay updated is to subscribe. You can do that. And I want to thank you all for your patience. I know it took me a while to upload this, and it's been heavily requested, so thank you for watching.